Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of FitzRupee Cast featuring Dawn of War 2 Retribution. Red-Rupee here with you, calling the shots, as always, for you this evening. And if you were around the last episode, you know that I had a special co-caster, Mr. Texanius. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. But last episode was a great one-on-one full of strategic insight, tactical tips, insightful talk regarding different playstyles and things like that. So I'm just ready to get down to a nice good old-fashioned brawl in a nice big nasty 3-on-3 game right here. We are on Typhon Arena, and as you can see, we've got a pretty interesting matchup, kind of almost opposite of Indrid's Faction Wars. If you haven't checked those out, that's Faction Wars with 3 of one race versus 3 of another race. Big nasty battles, lots of fun, but let's go ahead and take a look at the players. Mr. Simon starting off from GUG Clan over here for the red team, allied with Sam918. All of these Eldar Warlocks, by the way, if you haven't noticed by now. And final, last but not least, Mr. Legion over here rounding out the red team. And then for the blue team, we have a rather eclectic alliance. Mr. Koras starting off with our insatiable Tyranid Hive Tyrant. Then Mr. GUG Torack over here with our sneaky commando knob. And then the big and mean, the tough Force Commander, Mr. Baka, finishing out the blue team. And we're just going to get right on rolling here. Take a look around the map. If anything, this map, Typhon Arena, is a map of choke points. That's all it really is. Choke point down here, choke point up here, choke points at both the natural VPs up here, and it's just stairways. It's certainly not what I would call a commodious map. There's a couple big nice areas, one right there, and then once you actually get through the chokes at either power, it's pretty nice and wide open. But other than that, all very narrow stairways and corridors leading into the major combat zones here. So we're going to have to see how this plays out. Mr. GUG Simon bringing on triple Guardians. Banshees on the field down here for Mr. Legion, facing off against the Orcs and Space Marines right now. It's going to be interesting how this first engagement plays out. Normally, Tyranid are really struggling to find the right engagements on one-on-one games. They're kind of running around the map trying to strategically engage wherever they can and force off any opposing forces through kind of trickery and sneakiness like that. You can see the Warlock trying to get off a Destructor there, getting disrupted a couple times though, almost going down because of it. These Banshees are going to fall under way too much fire right now. Second Destructor going off though and forcing off one squad of shooters. Those Tactical Marines actually pretty damaged as well. Guardians dodging the first grenade. And as I was saying, these Eldar units, these first couple engagements, their squads are extraordinarily weak, especially in comparison to things like Tactical Marines. And with the Banshees forced off, they really have no answer to them right now. And those Guardians are probably just going to have to fall back. So you really can't expect to win this first engagement, I think, as Eldar versus all these various races right now. Especially with these big nasty heroes. Both Koras and Baka have those big nasty melee heroes. Big tanks, not ranged at all. And Torack, though having a ranged hero, is particularly good against Eldar because he can sneak around, and that 100% fire on the move early on can really shred through Guardians. So you can see the red team getting pushed back all over the place. Blue team took both of the major engagements there on either side of the map. Commando Knob trying to get out of there, dropping a point-blank stun bomb. And those Banshees are running right into his retreat path. He's going to try to find a way to get out of here, but it's not looking good for him. He's sneaking though, look at this. He might just sneak right by into that corner. Oh my goodness, the Banshees are looking, they found him! He might be getting out of there though, he's got 100 health, it's not going to take many swings to take him out. Down to 40, down to 7 HP, Taxon Force Commander coming in to reinforce, and wow, Force Commander takes out and clotheslines the lead Banshee, knocks her right on her back, and the Commando Knob just barely escapes. Warlock gets the cap just before having to fall back himself, and the second Warlock, Mr. Sam, coming up here with his newly acquired Merciless Witchblade and Champion's Robe. You can see going very light on his army, but investing heavily in his Warlock right now already. That Merciless Witchblade does some mean damage, does 65 DPS right there. Force Commander already upgraded to his Artificer armor, giving him a little bit of tankiness and on-the-field survivability, which you definitely want as Space Marine in these bigger team games. You want to be able to stay out on the field as long as you can. because on these bigger team maps, it just takes so long for this slower Space Marine force to get back on the field. Some Guardian shields going up, and look at the placement of the Shuriken Cannon. I like this a lot. A lot of people really try to push up and then put their platform in this corner, but that really restricts your escape plan there if you get caught by melee or anything like that. Leaving the Shuriken down here can still fire in this full arc, but as you can see, it's not in nearly as precarious of a position right there. Nice looking grenade, at least scaring the shoes off out of that cover. Those Guardians going to be able to pour some fire into them. Unfortunately, they didn't get into cover themselves. They're going to have to fall back right now. Hopefully someone's paying attention. Sam has to pull those back, does get those Guardians out of there well enough. And we can see what's going on up top. Two squads of Termagants, Hormagaunts facing off against triple Guardians and that Warlock with Immolate right now. And this is pretty cool. We're seeing very different builds already for these different Warlocks. Battle equipment on all the Guardians, which you really need in these team games when you have more fire pouring between. You got to get those grenades, get set up. Rangers on the field over here, but unfortunately running way closer than they need to be. In the meantime, Banshee's down here trying to get a nice little Gen Bash in there. Looks like these two squads attacks and scouts are going to come in and truncate that, though, as they aren't going to be able to stick around under that kind of heavy fire. Rangers getting dangerously close to death right there. Having to fall back at 80 HP. The Warlocks running all over the place. Up top we can see Warriors have flanked all the way around those Guardians. Coming in, Guardians trying to get out. They hit the fleet of foot. They're going to have to run it and probably just instantly retreat as soon as they get the opportunity. None of them have the energy for a grenade right now, I don't think. Trying to dodge around those Warriors and pulled right into a Shuriken Cannon. Excellent play right there. Termagants realize they have to fall back, especially with that Warlock running around haranguing them. And it looks like the Eldars have brought this right back around, or the Eldars, sorry, Eldars. Eldar is already plural, you don't need to add an S to that. Two squads of Rangers on the field for Legion. That's going to be quite a headache for Mr. Baka. I'm surprised he didn't go for Assault Space Marines, maybe predicting that Mr. Sam was going to, in fact, get that Merciless Witchblade. One scout falling already to Ranger fire, another taking a quick pot shot at that Force Commander, trying to chip away a little HP there. Churgan's getting rearranged right now. You can see no one's really had a strong hold on this central power. That's the main contested power. Other than that, both sides have their power all built up. Guardians getting caught on the wrong side of that energy shield right there. Unfortunately, these Rangers taking lots of fire. They need to retreat right now. Oh, one squad goes down already. Big loss for Legion right there, right out of the gate. But they do have a 3-0 cap right now for the Eldar. Eldar really pulling that map control like they want to do. Two Warlocks running around being extremely disruptive, in addition to all this Eldar range fire going across the board. Orcs trying to get Ludus set up, but don't quite get that suppression on time, and even if they had, they would have eaten the grenade right there and not been able to keep the Warlock at bay anyways. So you can see, look at this Warlock tanking. He led the charge, perfectly played, absorbed all kinds of damage, gets a nice sync kill there with the Merciless Witchblade. Commando Nob on his back right on top of the VP. And look at all these energy shields up. Of course, the Hive Tyrant can stomp on over him as soon as he gets the opportunity. Actually, it looks like he just tried to get the charge right there and maybe canceled it accidentally. So Ravener's coming in, probably popping right on top of that Shuriken platform, and now those Warriors and Hormagaunts are free to charge in after all these Guardian squads. Nice use of the Crippling Poison to slow down that Shuriken weapons team that was trying to escape and get reset up right there. In the meantime, Guardian's getting chewed up by all sorts of stuff. Immolate going down, but actually hurting the Warlock a little bit. He's going to have to fall back from that. Not really doing too much to the actual Tyranid forces right there. Man, a Guardian looks like, oh, just barely escapes. And Banshee's coming in from behind, actually. They're not going to be able to deal with all of this on their own, I don't think. But just as I say that, they get upgraded with an Exarch, and suddenly the battle turns in their favor. Unfortunately, they're going to take a little bit of a hit there on their own Altarch. Force Commander now completely decked out with Teleporter and Thunderhammer. That Thunderhammer going to be extremely effective against all the Eldar infantry on the field right now. Sam's lost quite a few squads, unfortunately, down to just a lone squad of Guardians. and a Wraith Lord coming onto the field right now. Sam didn't have too much. I believe all he had was that other squad of Guardians since he invested so heavily in his Warlock. Now with the complete Jedi Master build, that term, of course, coined by Mr. Steve Budd over at the Budcast. Go check him out if you haven't watched any of his stuff. Lots of fun with Black, and every so often myself. You can see Space Marines not even hesitating to destroy these Eldar shields. They don't even want them anywhere on the field, blocking way too much range fire since Baka did go for a heavily ranged build right here. And unfortunately, as we saw with these Shuriken cannons back here, the Plasma Devastators cannot sit below the terrain because they will fire those shots right into these walls here. Loot is also setting up, so both sides really trying to get a solid lock on this bottom VP. And this is a great VP to hold because once you do get it locked down, it is just easy to set up these suppression teams and artillery shots. And oh man, there goes a warp throw, pulling those shooters into a nasty spot. Nice looking special attack, knocking shooters everywhere. They have to retreat as well. Plasma Devastator trying to get a shot off on those Guardians. Unfortunately, it looks like those Ludas didn't fire in time. Guardians dropping a grenade right on their face, though, as the Wraith Lord and Eldar forces all rushing in. The Space Marines trying to take out this Warlock as he activates his energy shield. Wraith Lord causing all sorts of trouble. Meanwhile, Altark dropped right on top of the Plasma Devastator, and man, this is what I love about 3v3 games. Just tons of action. Everything's happening everywhere. Excellent plays so far by the Eldar, really using everything they have at their disposal. Using Fleet of Foot, using grenades, using all of their Warlock options. Meanwhile, it looks like Mr. Simon got pushed back up top by a combined force of Tyranids and Orcs. You see the Orc Weird Boy on the field right now with a squad of Slugga Boys. You can see he has at least a couple of his upgrades right now because he's got so much health right there. And another Power Bash coming in right here. Wraith Lord equipped with a Shuriken Cannon. Going to be doing some pretty nice ranged anti-infantry damage with both of these tactical Marine squads upgraded with rocket launchers already. Firing rockets right at those Guardians. Missed both shots, but still a little intimidating to have rockets flying at your face, I'm sure. That Wraith Lord charging straight at the Orc forces. They realize they have to retreat. Nice stun bomb on that Shuriken, though. Unfortunately, that Commando Nob may not be able to get in there in time. These tactical Marines really need to start pouring rockets into that Wraith Lord. In the meantime, up top you can see nice looking warp throw on those Termagants right there. Banshee's running around. Legion has some Guardians up here. Legion's been playing both sides of the field. You can see he's got at least one warp gate up over there right now. In the meantime, these attacks were still trying to do some damage to that Wraith Lord, but not quite getting it done. Warlock trying to get a couple extra kills in over here. Heavy infantry taking lots of damage from retreat on that melee. Force Commander raising up that Commando Nob in the face of some Guardians and gonna have to retreat through that Wraith Lord and possibly a Guardian Grenade or two. Right now, that Force Commander is going to be doing... Oh, look at that! Just crushing Guardians. 2 squads of shooters plus a couple swings of that Thunderhammer. Just obliterating a whole squad without much issue. Altark running around, constantly harassing these shooters. Unfortunately, it looks like that Luda Boy squad set up the wrong direction. That's always frustrating when that happens. Every so often, you get a little misclick there. And, oh no, second Altark coming in from the north there. Jumping on top of the Luda squad, taking out a model. Probably not going to be able to deal with all this range fire, but doing a good job of harassing right now anyways. That Luda should probably retreat just in case. Special attack and the Altark falls back. And, oh man, we already have a D cannon on the field. Everyone heading into Tier 3. It's been lots of action all over the place. This bottom point has just been a constant barrage of back and forth here. Shooter Boys constantly moving in. Now a D cannon on the field. There goes a Singularity. Shooter Boys notice it too and don't hesitate to get the heck out. Force Commander even uses his teleporter pack. Oh, a couple Orky bits. Just barely in range of that Singularity right there. And Ranger picking off that one injured Space Marine that was way ahead of the curve there. Nice looking Plasma Devastator shot. Unfortunately, all negated because of that energy shield. Always thought it was curious that those energy shields negated artillery as well. Apparently very high quality devices. Nice looking stun bomb right on top of those Wraith guards. I almost said Wraith Lords. I got it right. I caught myself. And Ravener's coming in. You can see coming up right underneath of those Guardians. They try to hit Fleet of Foot, but it's not going to do them any good. Ravener's coming in to melee. And here comes some Hormagaunts around from the ruins. Autark jumps in once again. I just heard another Autark drop back here. Looks like it obliterated those Ludas down bottom. Up top, once again, this Commando's just been going down all over the place. But hey, in a team game, that's not always that bad. Hive Tyrant charging in after that Shuriken Cannon, knocking the Autark down. And now the Termagants and Range Raveners are free to move in. They're going to have to be very careful against these Wraith Guards, though. Wraith Guards trying to not get caught in melee, but taking a lot of damage. They just need to get out of there right now to save themselves any more hurts. And, oh man, just look at those Tyranids mop up the place. In the meantime, these Wraith Lords and these two Guardian squads pushing all the way into the Space Marine base. Weird Boy cloaked over here. Possibly, I'm not sure what that happened. Maybe use that to escape at some point. Zap being used on Guardians, now getting transferred over to the Warlock, and then jumping to the Force Commander, who hits his battle cry, teleports in, knocking Guardians all over the place again. That Thunder Hammer is just nasty, nasty, nasty. Crushing Eldar all over the place. In the meantime, let's take a look at the VPs we haven't yet so far. The Eldar have a commanding 100-point lead. Pretty solid so far. Blue team struggling to stay on the field and keep all their stuff. Torack especially having a hard time to keeping all his forces going, down to just 2 Shooter Boys and that Weird Boy. Lost his Ludas to an Autark drop. You see this Plasma Devastator having a hard time finding a good spot. And oh man, a Fire Prism already on the field. Look at that beautiful white and blue Fire Prism over there. We got to give it to the Eldar. They do have a sense of style. The Fire Prism, just such a nice looking vehicle. Anyways, look at these attacks. That's not where you want to be, not on that side. Eldar using everything they can. Look at the swift movement activated. Looks like we're going to see some Guardian grenades. Oh, a D-cannon shot takes out something as well. Another grenade takes out, maybe, oh, nope. But wow, that was a harrowing retreat for the 2 squads of Tacticals and that Plasma Devastator. D-cannon fire, let's take a look at that. Look how far that D-cannon can fire. Ridiculous. Anyways, Koras now into Tier 3. We're going to be starting to see some Lictor play. So that is always very difficult. What was that? That was probably, I guess, a Ranger Hollow Field there. Not sure exactly why, but hey, I'm not going to question it. 1 Lictor already running around up here. A second one on the field currently chasing Guardians around, and this is going to be a big problem for Mr. Simon until this Avatar gets out on the field, because he has primarily a ranged army. Koras recognizes that. Not going to worry with Carnifexes right now. Those Lictors can deal with anything that the Eldar brings onto the field, with the exception, of course, of that Avatar right now. And look at that Force Commander just tearing away at everything. So you can see Simon getting set up top here. Meanwhile, oh no, Baka taking a big hit with those Shooter Boys. 2-0 cap. Blue team really needs to get back out there and do something about this. Plasma Devastator stalling out a little bit. Hitting that Warlock, really what you want to make sure you're doing. And look at these Guardians again going behind the lines here. Premature, just a little bit on that grenade. Wraith Lord did get a kill though, so not looking too bad on that. And oh man, just Tax getting brutalized anytime they try to retreat. There's just tons of stuff here. Oh, and it looks like we're going to have our first squad of Terminators hitting the field. What kind are they going to be? Assault Terminators, of course, coming from that Force Commander. Eldar have a particularly difficult time dealing with Terminators generally. No Bright Lances on the field. I always find myself surprised at how useful Bright Lances are against Terminators. That kind of long range, just constant zapping of the Bright Lance laser cannon. can see the Warlock actually doing pretty decent right now, just racking up some damage. He's going to have to get out of there. I don't think he's going to make it. Oh, man, but just a little too quick for that Assault Terminator to get the last swing in there. Look at Legion up here. Legion's been doing a great job so far of playing both sides. Uh-oh, we've got Providence happening up here already. This is the classic Providence build, the Witchblade of Kurnos, Providence, and the Warp Throw. He can do Ethereal Slash and Warp Throw as much as he wants. Then we have the Jedi Master build. And, of course, up top we've got the Immolator and Warp Throw. Three very different builds. I like to see different builds. And now we have not one, but two avatars on the field. And a Fire Prism down here. Oh no, and we have some very insidious Nobs down here. Used Hide the Boys on the Nobs and obliterating that Shuriken platform. That D-Cannon's going to have to get the heck out of there as well. Luckily the Fire Prism adds a little supporting fire to hold those Nobs off. And now it looks like they're going to try to go ahead and take out this nice looking little webway gate right there. And try as they might, it doesn't look like... Oh, they finally get it just before the Wailing Doom goes off. Oh no, and the Nob is the first to fall. That's expensive. Guardians once again in retreat pass, wanting to drop some grenades. Will they hit this time? 1, 2. Not getting any models. Will the Autarch pick one off? Not quite, but man, anytime I've seen a retreat down here, it's always been in the face of Eldar grenades, artillery, and melee. It's just brutal indeed. Avatar getting very beat up down here, facing off against the Laspred Terminators and a Crush Claw Hive Tyrant. Look at the use of over there, launching those Lictors further up, trying to get some nice hits on, but excellent backup from that Avatar. A double Wailing Doom, knocking Terminators and Lictors and Guardians and everything else all over the battlefield. That Laspred's going to be a big thorn in the Eldar side if they can't deal with it. Again, I'm kind of surprised I haven't seen any Bright Lances on the field, especially now that there's some vehicles hanging around, but we'll have to see how that works out. Warp Spiders would definitely be a plus as well. I haven't seen any Warp Spiders at all, surprising from 3 Eldar players. Avatar just kind of running around. They did a little tag team right there. First Avatar went in, did the high five, tagged out. Looks like Hive Tyrant's not going to be getting out of here in one piece. There goes the swing and chopped him right in half. There he goes. Down goes the Hive Tyrant. Lictor's now realizing, oh no, Autarch drop. Perfectly timed, but not quite positioned correctly. He thought those Lictors actually, I don't think, fit down on this side of the VP, or not the VP, but the requisition point right there. And oh man, once again, look at these sneaky Nobs coming in right there. And a final shot there from the rocket launcher of the Commando Nob. Nob's now chopping up Guardians. They're not going to be able to stick around though. Not with a Wraith Lord, Avatar, and Autarch pouring fire into that. Look at this Predator getting some nice shots in there. Needs to get one more shot on that Wraith Lord and it's going to go down. Oh, but the Nobs might go down as well. One more swing. Autarch's going to get it. There she goes. Chops the Nob right down. Torack down to just a Weird Boy and a squad of shooters. Now purchasing some more shooters, surprisingly. They're actually doing a little rough on power right now. Plasmadev getting a nice looking shot on top of those Wraith Guards. Meanwhile, shooters having to retreat after getting hit by... Oh, look at all the Orc bits! Another Wailing Doom. Oh man, it's just craziness all over the place. Force Commander in a lot of trouble though, getting knocked back and forth between Fire Prism and his own Plasma Devastator. Meanwhile, up top we've got the Tyranid forces moving back up. Weird Boy all the way over here, getting some caps in. Legion still putting some webway gates wherever they can. Really been helping out, keeping that DP lead their advantage. And oh man, look at that Warlock just barely escaping through amidst of Lightning Claw Terminators. If they just turned and taken a swing, that would have been perfect. Oh no, there goes that Plasma Dev doing a little more friendly fire. However, Lictor's now moving in on this Fire Prism, and we have a Tyranniform right in the middle of all this Eldar stuff. Fire Prism's frantically getting out of there. Wraith Guards getting obliterated. One getting up there, narrowly evading 2 more claws. And a couple more Guardians going down right there at the end. Nice looking Tyranniform. 153 to 282. And you can see the Commando just decapping right under all of this Eldar stuff right there. Nice looking grenade just as I scan over to see what was happening over here by the power node. Red team's been doing a good job of keeping this power down for the blue team. That's actually kind of what's keeping the blue team's tech a little behind here compared to all these avatars. And Providence going off again. Alt-Arc drop. Avatar stabbing everything. Pair of Fireprisms right now for Legion. Or sorry, now I thought they were the same color, but they're not. One's blue and black, or white and black, and one's white and blue. However, this Fire Prism, perhaps we have Mr. Sam not paying attention, is getting stabbed, run through, and obliterated by that Hive Tyrant. Looks like it might actually escape. Hive Tyrant struggling to keep up. Oh no, but it stopped to turn, and one last poke of the Crush Claw, and that Fire Prism goes down. That's an expensive loss. Once again, we see Hide the Boys used on the Weird Boy. Weird Boy sneaking away right here. Another Webway Gate going up on this side of the map. Legion really trying to make sure that he has some good map control. Legion, I think, over anyone, has really been playing both north and south sides of the map very well. Lost himself a couple squads early, possibly lost those Rangers and stuff because of that. Banshee's just hiding right behind that energy shield, kind of taunting these shooter boys who are just a bit too hesitant to move up against that kind of melee power. And I would not either if I were them, because Banshees are not something you want to mess with. Guardians moving in. I'm not sure if that's two different players. Sam and Legion not really communicating, and oh, Guardians bits everywhere. Oh no. Always got to watch out and communicate, especially when you're using those kind of friendly fire artillery abilities. Meanwhile, up top, the red team kind of really trying to lock down the VP up here and close this game out. All the VPs are neutral. And look at those Lictors tearing through that Fire Prism. Another Fire Prism goes down. Avatar getting a nice looking Wailing Doom off, and blue units go everywhere. Terminators coming in and doing some nice damage with their Lightning Claws. Going to be doing some really powerful damage to this Avatar. Of course, it's not a vehicle, it's the super heavy infantry, so that power melee very useful. 70 DPS on those Lightning Claws. That's almost the equivalent of 3 war bosses with Bang Bang Hammers, all swinging away at one squad. Lictor's back here harassing Guardians while the front line, this Avatar in a lot of trouble. I'm not sure if he's going to get out of there. An epic chase going on right now. One last shot from that Predator could be all she wrote as the Force Commander takes a swing with the Power Fist, and down goes that Avatar in a big fire explosion. And always a very cool animation as the Avatar dissolves and turns to ash there upon defeat. Wailing Doom trying to catch some shooter boys on retreat. A little premature, however. And man, this has just been a cornucopia of destruction so far this game. 126 to 226, again keeping this time that exact 100-point lead. And now setting up a defensive position here on the easternmost victory point. So 3 Lictors on the field. I'm not sure if Koras is going to bring a Swarm Lord or any kind of Carnifex onto the field at this point or not. Another call-in, more Terminators. That's how you know the game has been going on too long, is when there's 2 squads of Terminators on the field. So this is going to be very difficult for the Eldar position to hold right now. The bottom VP looking excellent. You can see the Avatar kind of hanging out back here on his own. And as the engagement gets started up top, a couple grenades go off. And we can see, oh man, here goes the Providence once again, or actually that was just the normal Ethereal Blade. There goes the Providence. Nobs charging in with Frenzy. Terminators have teleported, and Altark's dropping, and look at all this little Eldar stuff, just Eldar and melee everywhere. Look at the Ethereal Slashes cutting up everything. Nobs actually getting pretty beat up in the midst of all this. Fire Prism shots now coming off. And it looks like we have just constant Ethereal Slashes happening. Wraithguard firing into everything as the Hive Tyrant moves on back. Weird Boy calls in a little friendly fire there. Got to be careful with that. And meanwhile, here come the Lictors. Eldar finally getting pushed off away from that position. This Laspred been doing a great job so far, being used excellently by Mr. Baka. Simon bringing a second avatar onto the field. And a D-cannon coming on as well from Mr. Sam. This Commando Nob just constantly getting decaps down here. Doing a great job of keeping that VP lead from getting too bad. 83 to 217 though. It's going to be very difficult here for the blue team to get this back. 2 D-cannons now watching this bottom point. And you can see Mr. Legion not quite paying attention down here as that Commando Nob once again gets the decap. These Guardians in a lot of trouble. In the meantime, we see, oh, another Tyranniform going off. Doing some pretty solid damage. In the meantime, Legion popping out. Or actually, this is Sam. Their colors are very similar. Getting them mixed up from time to time. Oh, no! There goes the Wraith Guards finally. Fireprisms still firing away up here as a nice Wrath of Cain goes off. Knocking Terminators all over the place. Warlock picking up his fellow Warlock, getting up just in time to cause some more havoc around. Unfortunately, if he's not careful, these two squads of Lightning Claw Terminators are going to make short work of him. Down he goes again. Another Wailing Doom, not quite in time to save the Warlock. And I don't think this Avatar, this is not where he wants to be right now. 2 squads of Lightning Claw Terminators and a Power Fist. You can see just, wow, look at his HP just drop under that kind of melee pressure right here. He needs to escape right now. D-cannons firing in on those Terminators though, getting some good damage in. They actually might be a little out of position right now. Just use their teleport. If everything pops out of that top warp gate right there, they could manage to take out both of these squads if they so choose. Commando Nob, once again, just every time I look down here, it's the invisible Commando Nob getting that decap, playing some excellent, excellent sneaky games down there. Oh no! Fire Prism now hitting these Terminators. Terminators finally realize they're bitten off a bit more than they can chew. 1 Terminator left, and here goes another one. Nice looking grenade, catching a Guardian, however. Weird Boy trying to keep those Guardians from firing as much as they can. However, look at this Hive Tyrant just charging in with veracity right now. Taking out another Fire Prism. That's at least 2 Fire Prisms that Hive Tyrant has under his belt now, or under his scales, or carapace, or whatever it is that the Hive Tyrant has to keep track of his little kills there. 1 Terminator squad going down. The second one finally teleports out. The teleport was on cooldown. They both teleport at the same time. If they had waited just a second longer, that first squad may have even been surviving as well. Lictor finding that Warlock over here. Oh no, there he goes. Oh, Legion's Warlock goes down, and that's a shame because I think he actually may have had Providence on cooldown. I'm not sure if he had used that recently or not. There goes another Ethereal Slash. And now we're seeing a battle up in the fog here between the Hive Tyrant and the Warlock. Warlock takes out that Plasma Devastator, but it costs him his life as well as that Hive Tyrant finishes him off right there. You can see another Wailing Doom, and D-cannons just firing into these knobs, obliterating the knobs. Torack finally getting a reasonable force onto the field. Baka replacing that lost Terminator squad with another Predator. Simon down to just a lone squad of Guardians and an Avatar. Although once an Avatar is on the field, really, what can't that deal with other than an entire army? 83 to 129. Still anybody's game. Blue team doing a great job of bringing it back right now, but eliminating the Fire Prisms pretty much as they come onto the field. Force Commander teleporting in fearlessly right in the midst of Banshees and an Avatar and D-cannons, and wow, just knows no fear indeed. But he's going to have to get out of there as that Avatar takes a final swing and the D-cannons are firing away. Constant cannonade of D-cannon fire over here. Shooter Boys now moving in. That Avatar still looking pretty healthy. They're not going to be able to get in on that. Really, the blue team needs to either push one side or the other and go all in. I think if they just went all in on top, they have a chance of taking this back still. But it looks like instead they're deciding to push bottom extremely hard right now. All forces now converging on top of this Avatar. Raveners going in, finally disrupting those D-cannons that have been firing away this entire time. However, lots of shooters turning into bits as the Avatar swings one over his head and tosses it behind him. That's one of my favorite sing kills. That Avatar taking everything out right there. Oh man, we have a Singularity and Wailing Doom going off at the same time. Actually, that's an Eldritch Storm right there. Singularity, not at all. Nobs hit the Frenzy and just eat all the damage instead. Completely immune as they start advancing on this Avatar. Unfortunately, Banshee's coming in, and here comes just a nasty ruckus of melee right here. And you can see Nobs just don't want to mess with level 4 Banshees. However, it looks like Call to Boys has been used. Nobs constantly respawning. An endless horde of Nobs is not what you want to be dealing with as an Avatar right now. 15 points to 129. This is probably all over for the blue team unless they can get this cap right now. Avatar on the field up top as well. Gonna knock these tactical Marines off the point. Oh my goodness. 2 last cannon Preds, however, though. Gonna be able to take that thing out. Unless it gets one more swing on this tactical Marine, there's gonna be nothing to cap the points. Why did it stop attacking? Oh no! Blue team gets the cap, stops the counter. It's 6 VPs. Still possible for the blue team to bring this back. Now 2 Fire Prisms and 2 D-Cannons. Another global nuke going off here. Everyone trying to make sure that bottom VP doesn't change hands. D-Cannon still obliterating Shootaboys along with that Avatar. She might be able to take them out. However, the Avatar up top going down. Another, oh man, Eldritch Storm obliterating one of the 2 Predators up top. There goes another cap for the blue team. However, the red team trying to get it down here as well. Another nuke, however. We've got orbital bombardment happening down bottom. Meanwhile, up top, another sneak. Weird Boy sneaking again, and it actually looks like his animation was broken. He died while invisible. Orbital bombardment going off, obliterating some more Eldar. Everything hit retreat. Commando Nob looks like he captured that point one too many times and got taken out. However, I don't think the blue team's going to take this at all. Not with 2 D-Cannons and 2 Fire Prisms up there. They need to hurry up and take this point. Another cap. If the red team casts it at all, they literally do not have the time to take it back. Looks like Providence, however, is going to seal the deal. And wow, I think that might finally be the game right now. Unless the blue team can get over here and finish this, both the Autarch and the Warlock off. They have nothing up top. They had the Weird Boy being very sneaky, taking that point, delaying the game just long enough. But oh no, there goes the final cap, 4 points left. And as the last couple points tick down and the Fire Prism Cannonade continues, and one final Ethereal Slash. I don't know how many Ethereal Slashes we saw this game, but this is indeed an auspicious day for the craft world, as that was a hell of a victory for the triple Warlock Eldar team. The unified Eldar forces facing off against this myriad of other armies. Warlocks just tossing warriors all over the place. Man, how about that Warlock play? I love seeing Warlock played well. You don't often see Providence get to be used in solo games, so it's lots of fun seeing this kind of mayhem happen in team games. And just look at this. This is the bottom point right here. How can you compete with that? And the Autarch actually the Avatar holding his hand up high, realizing that victory is his. 2 D-Cannons, 2 Fire Prisms. What a game! Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed it. That was a heck of a lot of destruction. Exactly what you want to see from a 3-on-3. Anyways, this is Red-Rupee. If you enjoyed the game, feel free to subscribe, leave some comments, discuss the game. I always appreciate it. I will catch you guys next time. Good evening!